Welcome back to Phae's Place, a podcast where dreamers have the liberty to dream. I'm your host, Phaedra, and I am so excited that we have this time to dream together. The music business is called a business for a reason. As they make sure they keep up their end of the bargain, artists must protect their work as well. Things can get complicated because art is personal, but that's why we have people like today's guest who helps artists understand the fine print. Thank you for stopping by Phae's Place, Chelsea. How are you?
Of course, I'm so good. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Now take us back to your 5-year-old self. If someone was to ask you what you wanted to be at 5, what would you have said?
Okay, 5-year-old Chelsea would have said fashion designer.
Ooh.
Yes.
Now, what inspired that?
I've always had a love for fashion. I was sorting through some of my old books and toys when I was younger this morning, actually, and I noticed I was just constantly surrounded by magazines of different publications, different celebrities. So I was just in love with that world. It just so happened to be that the path that I was really destined to go down was just a mix of that and law.
Congratulations to you. I think you just graduated Spelman College, right?
Yes.
So out of all the colleges, what led you to go to Spelman?
There was a lot of reasons, but I think the primary one was when I visited the campus for something. Oh my goodness, I'm forgetting the name of the program now, but in essence, it's you're welcoming all the new students who recently got accepted onto the campus. They can get a better understanding of what it's all about. Mm-hmm. And I had gone there, walked around campus, and I took a glance at just my surroundings, and I'm like, for the next 2 years, at least for me, I will be surrounded by just Black women just doing the thing in their specific, industry or niche. And that was just so inspiring to me. And I remember thinking it was it's definitely going to push me outside of my comfort zone, because you have to have some sort of grounding within yourself to know that you deserve to be there and to not, give into the whole comparison thing and be oh, well, she's doing this, I'm not doing this. No, you just have to acknowledge that they're doing amazing things and you continue to do amazing things. And that's what Spelman did for me.
And the campus is beautiful.
Oh, yes.
Now, I know that you started off as a political science major.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct? Were you still a political science major, or did you transfer? Okay. So what made you want to get into that world?
Yes, that was largely my papa. He went on to Jesus in 2019, but
okay, my condolences.
Yes, but he was largely my inspiration. So he worked in the government, and so I was just really following in his footsteps, also in a way to honor him in a way through my major. But yeah, that's largely why I was drawn to that major.
So what was your dream when you said, "Yeah, I'm gonna go into political science"? What did you want to be at that time?
I want to be a congresswoman.
Ooh.
Yes.
I know you because of your wonderful TikTok page, and I am a huge fan. You talk about what artists need to know before their sign. What inspired you to go down that route from being a political science major to let's talk about entertainment law?
Yeah. 5-year-old Chelsea, she just loved entertainment. She loved music. She loved the creative arts. She loved fashion, just because of how lively it was. And I think that was also in part to the fact that both my parents are entertainers, right? So I was always immersed in that world, in and outside of magazines, right? So I think in my first year of college, I knew that I wanted to be a congresswoman. I was just hell-bent. And then I just, upon, being able to work on the Hill and do certain work, specifically related to that field, I just realized, although it's amazing work and it's needed work, it wasn't my passion as much. And so I just started doing that inner work, and it was okay, Chelsea, what does make you passionate? And I thought about those moments when I was 5, looking through magazines and following my parents through the studio, and it was okay, that's what makes me passionate. And I did a little bit more research, and I was there's such thing as entertainment law. I had no idea that even existed. But it was okay, now that I know that exists, I want to go full throttle. And I remember praying in December of 2024 during the winter break, my first winter break. And I was God, okay, so you gave me the clarity as to what niche of law I want to go into. But I keep telling people this, but I'm not really doing anything related to that. And it was just as clear as day, Phae. It was before you get signed. You're going to start this platform. You know, you're not giving legal advice because you're not a lawyer yet. But yeah, you're just like guiding independent artists on what they should be looking out for in their contracts, how to protect themselves so they don't make the same mistakes that my parents unfortunately did.
And listen, one thing about God, if you ask him, he will give you an answer. He will definitely give you an answer. And I love that it was so clear. I think your path, even though you're not the only one in the world, who's doing entertainment law, but I think it's such a specific niche and you do it so well. And you are so clear about what artists need to look forward to. So it's easy to understand and it's really helpful. So let's go back a little with your parents. Now, what did your parents do since they're in the entertainment industry?
Yes. So shout out to my mommy. So she originated the role of Suge Avery in The Color Purple on Broadway.
I love it.
Yes. And then my dad was the drummer for Cameo. So if you know like the song Candy. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's amazing. Now, does your mom still act? Is your dad still drumming?
Mm-hmm.
They do. Okay. Mm-hmm. Is he a touring musician?
Yes. And a producer. Focuses more on the producing side now.
Okay. That is so good. Now, do you have a little entertainment talent? Just a smidge?
I know. I'm like, my mom gets on me so bad all the time. So I've been writing songs since I was little. I was acting when I was younger, but I was like, that's cute for that season. But writing songs, I still do. So I think, honestly, like of course I'm going to go full throttle with the lawyering side of it. But I'm like, maybe we could like ghostwrite in the future too,
I like that. I don't know if you ever heard of Lauren Lake. She did Paternity Court.
No.
She is I don't know if she's an entertainment lawyer, but she's a lawyer, but she also was a background singer for like Snoop Dogg and all these other people. And then she got into television where people would call, she would be like the guest lawyer. So people had questions. And then it turned into 2 court shows and she's Emmy nominated. So you could do it. There is hope. There is hope. And I know you have your own little jingle for your platform too. So
Little something.
I was like, that is so smart. I could see that being like a television show or something.
Yes, girl, claim it.
See, that's the kind of stuff they need on BET. Let me call them up real quick. Yeah. We got an idea. But wouldn't that be so cool to have like a panel of like entertainment law and they would just tell like inside little tidbits? Yes. I can see that. Almost like The Real, but on BET. No, let's call the people.
You're not serious. You're not serious. She said,
let's call the people. Let's get it done. Hi friends, it's Phaedra, and you are listening to Phae's Place. Join us each week as we talk to industry insiders about their journey and what it takes to turn dreams into a reality. Whether you aspire to be in the entertainment field or just inspired by the hustle, count this as your backstage pass. Join us every Monday for a brand new episode. And also follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at Phae's Place. What is some of the biggest misconceptions that you come across with artists who are just starting out and they still have to navigate the whole entire contract record deal process?
They want to remove themselves from the business, right? As simple as that is, a lot of the artists that I've spoken to, it's like they come to me largely because they want me to either like help them with an opportunity, that has come across their desk, or they're like, Chelsea, I don't know how much I should ask for. And they're like, and I don't want to handle it like you just handle it. I'm like, okay. One of them, which I won't say his name, he comes to me and he was like, Chelsea, there was this record company that came to me and, they want me to do work with their artists. We can do a duet. I said, okay, that's amazing. And he was like, but they asked me how much I should ask. They asked me how much I want. And I said, okay. And how, did you say anything? He was like, no. I said, okay, well, that's good. Cause you never give an answer straight there. You always ask for time. And he was like, yeah, no, I didn't say anything. And I said, okay, how much is your rent? And he was like, oh, it's about like $3,500. I said, what do you want to ask for? He's like, $500. I said, and so what you see the discrepancy there. You have to provide for yourself first. You have to know what your daily expenses are, what your weekly, monthly, yearly expenses are, so you can know what to ask for. $500, $3,500?
Girl, no. You are helping the people. You are.
I said, what? No. And again, it's like, we could very well, and we asked for that. We asked for $3,500. and then we can work down from there. But to start, if you were to straight start at 500, they're gonna take you down to 200. You know, and that's what my mom always taught me. It's like you want to shoot for the stars, shoot for the moon, and
Yes.
land on the star.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you don't want to shoot for a star and land in the grass.
That's something that I often find myself like nervous about. 'Cause, you know, you don't want to think of yourself more highly than you ought, but at the same time, you're like, well, I'm giving quality work.
Yes.
You know, so I never knew exactly what I should ask for. But now I'm going to take that into consideration. You do a lot of consultations. What is another example that stood out to you?
And this applies to being an artist, and this applies to also just being a woman. So shout out to my like female independent artists. But
Yes.
not listening to your discernment. I think that's like the second mistake, because it was one of my very first consultations. We were on the phone and she was like, you know, Chelsea, I'm about to release my EP. I said, this is actually a video on my Instagram. Yeah, she's like, I'm about to release my EP. I said, okay, that's exciting. And she was like, and so she puts out a story and was like, I'm looking for rappers, artists to collaborate with. And so there's this guy that slid up in her DMs and they're talking and they're planning, and all of a sudden the terminology is changing from like your song, your EP to our song, our EP. And so now he wants like partial ownership in the EP, and like, because I had connected you with the studio people and you can come to the studio alone, all this type of thing. And so it's like I'm listening to her speak, and it's not a fault of hers. It's just like, I know it's just women in general because it applies to our careers and our personal lives. But that little voice on the inside, that's like, for me, it's the Spirit of God. For us, Spirit of God. For other people, it's different things. But that voice is like, this is a little odd. It's time to dip. You know, you need to listen to that.
That will definitely save you. It reminds me, I don't know if you're familiar with Mama, I Want to Sing. It's the longest running off-Broadway show, and I was part of it, but there's a song in there that goes, "No one to leave the party," you know, and it talks about that discernment, like you got to understand when you need to say thanks, but no thanks.
Right.
There are a lot of wonderful opportunities that happen, like internships. When do you know when it's okay to ask for money or to just do it for free?
I would say two things. For one, I think it depends on the season of life that you're in, and it also depends on you as a person. So I know, like for me, all through college, I was a little flexible. I was like, you know, it can be like paid, unpaid. You know, the experience matters most. Now, post grad, it's like, you understand. Phae understands.
I got you.
I said unpaid when I have bills. No. So I think the season of your life, you know, largely contributes to that. But second to that, when it comes to knowing when to ask for money, my Morehouse brother taught me, which I was like, see, you ate that. Because before you even ask for money, you should always ask, what's the budget? You know? So you know if they have money in the first place. You feel me?
That's
and then
good.
From there, you know, you can ask ChatGPT, you know, okay, well, based on, I'm so serious, y'all. Better use it for the good. Use it for them emails, to use it for this. Okay, well, they told me this, what the budget is. Now ChatGPT can help me with like market research. So based on this budget, based on, you know, the industry being, at least for me, like entertainment, touring, whatever the case may be, what can I ask for? And then, you know, make your argument from there.
I remember when I was in graduate school, I asked that question. Their stance was, you know, like if it's a famous person or somebody really into their career, then that's a good opportunity for you to learn. You know, so you don't want to ask them for money because it's a good opportunity for you to learn. You know, it's a good experience. And like you said, I kind of was teeter-tottering because I'm like, you got money. You could pay someone. Also, being a young Black woman in the business, I think it's such a balancing act because you want to be quote unquote humble. You know, you like, I am starting out, but at the same time, it's like, hold on, I have degrees. I have studied, and I'm no longer in school. Learning how to ask for respect or to kind of like demand respect. And I'm at that time in my life where I'm like, I deserve respect. Like Lauryn Hill said, respect is just the minimum. And especially, you know, in our craft. Anything you want to say about that?
Absolutely. It doesn't hurt to ask. That's what I'm really learning because I'm giving advice, but know that I'm learning as I'm going to. Literally just got an internship like 2 days ago, and he was like, "Yeah, so just let me know if you have any questions." Well, yeah, I said compensation. Well, yes, but it's like it's hard to bring that conversation up, but at the same time, it's like the worst thing they can say is no.
Right.
But through all these different situations where you have to pitch yourself and ask for what you need, you'll just grow stronger over time and be more comfortable with saying, "Okay, I need 5,000. I need to that whatever." But girl, I'm learning.
And it's such a hard thing to learn because, especially, I mean, you don't want to be mean, and people could kind of be like a people pleaser. It's like, I don't want to disrespect them if they don't have money. But at the same time, I think artists have to be comfortable and knowing their worth.
Yes.
And just saying, well, if you can't afford me at the time, that's okay. I could pivot and go somewhere else. And like you said earlier, learning that discernment. Sometimes it is better to do something free because it might open doors. But then other times it's just like, maybe you do need to ask and, to get paid.
Yeah, and the worst thing they can say is no. And then you just move on and you can stay.
That's right.
Yeah.
I tell myself the worst thing they could say is no, and that's not the worst thing. In the grand scheme of things, it's not that bad. Pursuing your dream is hard enough. You might as well look good while you're doing it. Like I always say, when you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you do good. Embodied Apparel is all about doing good for the community. It provides quality statement apparel and opportunities for firsthand social and civic engagement. My favorite part is not only are the t-shirts soft and comfortable, but they are printed by Turn 90, which is a nonprofit that provides therapy and job placement to men creating a new direction after prison. Now that's a dream I can get behind. Shop now at embodiedapparel.com, and for a 10% discount on your purchase, please use the code PHAESPLACE. So while you were in school, what is something that you learned that really stood out to you? Like, I never thought about that, about the industry, or that was an interesting fact.
Oh, there was so much. There was so much. Okay, this was like a revelation that I had that wasn't really, like, it didn't come in relation to the entertainment industry, but it can apply. But it was just that imposter syndrome is a choice.
Ooh, say that again for the people.
Imposter syndrome is a choice, right?
Yes.
And I think sometimes we make it seem as though it's not and that we don't have control over it, but you absolutely do. When you boil imposter syndrome down, it's simply coveting what somebody else has, right? Being jealous of what somebody else has and like wanting it for yourself. At least when I took a step back, it was like, I can either be jealous of my sisters, because when I tell you every other day, someone is like, "Oh, your sister got this internship, fellowship, job." And you're like, damn. You're like, okay,
right.
Right. But, and that applies to social media too. But it's like, you can either be stuck in that mentality where you're just constantly comparing yourself, or you can say, listen, I want that opportunity for myself. I'm going to ask her how she got that opportunity. Same thing with like the conversation we had before. Worst thing she could say is no. But 9 times out of 10, all the scenarios where I went to my sister, I was like, hey, like, Spelman on the Hill, I want to be a part of that. They were like, sure. Let me review your essays. People want to help you. That was the turning point for me. So I think as it relates to entertainment, same thing applies. If you're admiring another artist, their, marketing, strategy is amazing, or, they're getting a lot more streams, hit them up. Like, hey, how are you doing this?
I agree. And I'm always drawn back to the quote that Issa Rae talked about, and she was like, network across, not always up. And I think that's so wonderful, because in your journey, people really do have a competitive spirit and they want to do better than their neighbor. Yeah. But the truth is, you probably could get more done when you work together, because there's literally so much room at the top. Everybody can have a seat at the table. People just want to think that you don't. And if there's not a seat, you create that seat.
Hello.
Come on, somebody. You got to create the seat. You have to be the dream that you want to see, because the stuff that you admire to do because you looked at somebody else, they paved that way sometimes. I think about like Diane Carroll. when she went on A Different World, she was telling like the cast, she was like, oh my goodness, everybody here is black. Like I didn't have, like I did not have that.
Really?
And when you think about that, it's so mind-boggling. I'm just so happy that other people were able to pave that trail for me. So this way I don't have to fight that specific fight, but I could, continue to stand on their shoulders and open doors for those coming behind us.
Yeah.
Now that you graduated, what are you currently dreaming up?
Yes. Okay. Law school.
Yes.
Yeah. So I've been studying for the LSAT. Y'all please pray. But it's good. It's good. I am so grateful though for community. And this ties into what I was saying before about just asking, right? Because I'm learning to embrace it. Worst thing they can say is no. But I went to Reddit. I was like on all type of platforms. I'm like, listen, like how do I study? What platforms do I use? Which tutoring sources should I use? And people just weren't responding. I said, period. So I went to TikTok, made a simple video, no makeup, braids straight up out the bonnet. I was like, hey guys, I've tried Reddit. They're not responding, but I want a community to just keep me accountable and we just work through this together. Let me tell you, Phae. Not even law school. The law school admissions process is crazy expensive. So I'm just like, I just wanted to create a community. Fast forward, it blew up. Thousands of like comments, likes. We were like, let's make a group chat. We make a group chat. There's this one woman, shout out Mia. She's like, Chelsea, I got the scale for LSAT is 110 to 180. She got a 172. She was like, Chelsea, I got this 172. I'm applying to law school, but I want to see more black women in the field. So I will help y'all study twice a week for free. Do you understand? I said, see. That's so amazing. So that's what we've been doing.
That's really great. Now, do you have a law school in mind that you would like to get in?
Yes. Okay, so my top three are like UC Berkeley, UCLA, and Howard.
Okay. Now, I'm just going to throw my little 2 cents in here. I graduated from somewhere called Belmont University.
Okay.
In Nashville, Tennessee, and they have a great law program. The good thing about Nashville is that it's Music City. Mm-hmm. And then this school is really known for like their music business. So I'm just putting that out there. You could do your own research. Add that to one of your, and it's beautiful. But yeah, we could talk more offline if you ever have any questions about that. But any special clients that you hope to have, or do you want to be a lawyer to the big stars, or you still want to just help up and coming artists?
I think I want to have a mix. I don't know if you know about the attorney. Her name is Bernie Lawrence Watkins, but she is Lotto's attorney amongst like a lot of other artists. So I use her as like my reference point. So I would definitely want to have like a mixed clientele though. So I want to have like, the established artist, but I feel like it's so much more rewarding when you're able to build an artist from the ground up or help build them, right?
Yes.
And to see them from like when they were, trying to get deals or trying to get collabs, and now it's like everybody's trying to come to them. So I want to mix.
I think that's great. It keeps you grounded. I'm so excited for your future and all the stuff that you're doing, and I'm definitely going to be following. So tell the people, if they want to get in contact with you, how can they do that?
Yes, so on all platforms, Instagram and TikTok primarily, you can follow me at Miss Before You Get Signed. That's MISS Before You Get Signed.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you again for stopping by Phae's Place. You are welcome to come by anytime. And thank you all for listening. We'll be back with a brand new episode next Monday. And I love you all for listening. This podcast episode was recorded with Riverside.